Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Thursday. I am Sarah, and I am so excited to be here today. I have been away for a little bit, and I'm just glad to be back. I love doing these lives and sharing so much of the wisdom and blessings and insights that I have been so blessed to receive through 20 years of practice and about 10 years of teaching professionally. So, little housekeeping first. I am using a platform called StreamYard. If you are watching live, it would help me a lot if you say hello on the comments so that I know that I'm streaming to all the right places. I cannot see your name on the comments unless you give StreamYard permission. So if you don't want to give StreamYard permission, that's okay. Just say, hi, this is, Mary, when you comment so that I know who's there. I'll greatly appreciate it. Plus, it helps me to reach more people when you engage as you watch the live. Second of all, I want to remind everyone I am hosting the most amazing workshop on June 29th. It is 2 hours. It is only $27. And we are going to talk about how to create a sustainable mindfulness practice for your specific needs. I have run a version of this workshop in the past as a challenge that I was streaming live online, but this time I'm doing it differently. I want to be able to interact with you more intimately. So it's going to be a Zoom event only, but if you can't attend live, you can catch the recording as well. Hi, Stacy. How are you? Thanks for joining. Okay, so that is in regards to things that are coming up. The other thing that's coming up, it's the yoga teacher training. Guys, I only have 2 spots left. I am so excited for the women who have already joined. Welcome to all of you who are already enrolled. I am so excited you're here. So the weekday version of the yoga teacher training program on Wednesdays starts on July 14th, and the weekend version starts on August 21st on Saturday afternoons. So it doesn't matter what your work schedule is, there's a way for you to do this program, and it's really, truly life-changing and amazing. It's one of my best programs, one that I just love deeply because of a long story that I don't want to get into right now, because we get to talk about other stuff. Hey, Sarah, thanks for joining. Oh, so good. Thank you for commenting. So you're watching live on YouTube. That helps me to know that all of this is working great. Perfect. Okay, so today's topic is mistakes, spiritual mistakes, or just mistakes in life in general. And first of all, we have to understand that we're kind of on earth to make mistakes. Like, the whole reason that we have incarnated into this life and have 10 fingers and 10 toes and a beautiful mind that helps us remember and understand and imagine and dream, right, is because we are spirits. And we need a way to kind of like slow down time and slow down our experiences so that we can rise, so we can learn and rise vibrationally. There is more evolved souls and spirits that don't need to be in a human physical shape in order to learn and grow and evolve. But if we are here on earth, it's because we have something to learn. We are here on a mission. Before we even incarnated, we had what's called a birth vision, a specific plan as of what you wanted to learn and how you wanted to evolve. And like literally when they say you pick your parents, you do, because you choose the lessons that you're going to learn by being born through that experience. And oftentimes we pick our partners too, our romantic partners and husbands and wives and whatever, and we decide that we are going to go on this journey together, and it's part of this like higher vision that you had for yourself before you incarnated into the world of form, and kind of your system got programmed by the collective consciousness and the ancestral patterns, and you forgot all about it. Okay. But the thing is, you are either learning consciously or you are learning unconsciously. So you're learning no matter what. Okay. But you are either drifting through life, doing what the collective consciousness told you that you should be doing, getting a job and going to school and getting married and saving for retirement and doing all of these things. And you all of a sudden wake up one day and realize, okay, this is not it. Like, I've done everything everybody told me to do. And where the heck, like, I'm still craving, I'm still looking, something's still missing, right? And a lot of the times, because the world of form is so heavy and it's so tempting, like, we have 5 senses that are constantly pulling us into certain directions, to the next shiny thing and the next pleasurable thing and the next pretty thing and the next exciting thing, right? So it's very easy, once you are in this human physical form, to drift, get pulled by the senses, get pulled by the collective consciousness expectations, and kind of lose your way. And that's how oftentimes we find ourselves making mistakes. How many times have you, just something as simple as, bought something that you didn't need? Okay, that then, just because it was so pretty and you had to have it and you wanted that immediate gratification. And then, now you're in credit card debt because you have a shopping habit, and then that continuously creates stress in your system, and it keeps you into like fight or flight mode and completely overworking. And then you overwork so much and you're so stressed about the debt that now all of a sudden you have digestive issues, and, you have anxiety, and then it kind of just snowballs, because we weren't conscious of the craving and the action that we were taking. Now, in reality, what your system is trying to do is, your system is trying to move away from fear and towards light and love. Greed and the search for pleasure is a fear-based action. Okay, it's an action taken from the misperception that this or that external thing is going to bring you happiness. And so I'm taking it down to like the silliest mistake that I can possibly think of, right? Which is, listen, at some point when I was young, I had I'm going to say 100 pair of stupid freaking shoes, because they had a sale naturalizer, and, it was literally 90% off. And I just had to have all of these shoes. Like, it's a form. It's so sad now when I think about it. And I think about that young girl that was so starved and so empty inside that I, in my head, thought that having all of these shoes was going to somehow fill up some void. Like, it's kind of sad when you think about it, right? But that's where I was at the time, because this is the collective consciousness and the programming that had been downloaded into me from my ancestors, who always had to look so nice and so proper, and all of this. And then your entire sense of identity depended on how you look and what people thought of you. And the more polished you were, then the more valuable and special, and then people could look. All of this, right? Shoot me now. But you have to understand that it was there for a reason. It was there as a craving for love. It was there as a craving to have a sense of identity, of feeling better about myself, or whatever the heck. It was misguided. It was coming from a place of misperception. I completely know that now. I literally own 3 pairs of shoes. I have 1 summer shoe and 1 winter shoe, right? But you have to have a little bit of compassion that all of the wrong decisions that you make are coming because you're asleep, because you're not seeing clearly, because you're perceiving things from this old ancestral collective programming that has been downloaded into you, and from the five senses pulling you in certain directions, and from your ego trying to create a sense of identity. And that is why we take the wrong jobs, and that's why we overwork ourselves to the point of burnout, because we're trying to just prove ourselves and, be successful and feel appreciated and all of this stuff. And you're either learning that unconsciously, and like I said, eventually getting into debt and overworking and going into burnout, or you are learning that consciously. And now what that looks like is introspection. It's kind of having the time and space to sit down and see yourself clearly, see the actions that you are taking from a place of witnessing. And this is why a mindfulness practice is so important, something like meditation or yoga, because when you sit and you witness yourself and you witness the waves, the thoughts that come and that go, this, you smell something and you are sitting still and you see the craving. If you can do that in meditation, if you can do that on your yoga mat, then you can do that when you're at the shoe store. You can see the craving, you can see what you're doing, and you can prevent yourself from making stupid decisions that will snowball into negative patterns. Okay, so a practice is really important because of that. The other thing that's important, and I say this all the time, and I don't want you to perceive that it's like I'm the only teacher. There's many, many teachers out there, but you need a teacher. You need someone who sees you, not even because they know better, but for the mere fact that they witness you. And that is something that can only happen in the presence of a divine teacher who can see you with love and without judgment. When they're able to see you with love and without judgment, and they're able to see your mistakes and your misperception from a place of love and without judgment, then you can learn to do that for yourself. The only reason that I'm such a good teacher, and I say that now with a little bit more confidence than I used to because I've just been around the block so much, is because I had a teacher who just would see me make mistake after mistake after mistake, and she would just lovingly and patiently show me what I was doing, never without a single ounce of judgment or impatience. And it was through that process of being witnessed myself that I was able to peel away and fix a lot of the layers of dysfunction that I had in my system. And because I've done that, I can then very easily and effortlessly see my students and hold that same loving space that a teacher once held for me. And so you need a practice so that you can see yourself. And if you're lucky enough to find a teacher that you feel comfortable with at this time, it's super helpful because that teacher will act as a sacred mirror, a divine witness for you to see yourself. It's not that I see you, it's that you see yourself. Okay? So when you are evolving consciously, you are witnessing yourself and you are awake enough to maybe search for some help for someone else to help you witness yourself as well. And so that's what the practice is for. That's what a teacher is for. But sometimes we also have to realize that we might still make mistakes, even with our best intentions. And even when we are able to see ourselves so clearly, we still make mistakes. And the reason that we do that, guys, is because we have a little bit of momentum from old patterns that are used to going in a certain direction. And even though you might be able to see it, you might not have the strength to stop the pattern from going into that direction. As a matter of fact, if you are in a negative pattern, it's going to take 10 times the amount of light and the opposite force to be able to reroute you to go in a different direction. And so a lot of the times, even though you might see it, and you might see it before it's happening or while it's happening or after it has already happened, you might not always be able to stop the pattern right away. But you don't even have a chance to change it unless you see it. And sometimes you have to actually see yourself doing it in order to realize what it is you're doing. And this is what I mean by the world of form is here to help us witness and to slow down time so that we can see what we're thinking, we can see what we're feeling. A lot of the times, like I remember when I was a mess, okay? I would be like screaming at my kids because I was angry, stressed, whatever the heck. And as it's coming out of my mouth, I'm like, shut up. Like, I knew it. I could see it. But the energy from inside was still so strong, I couldn't stop it. And it's that reprogramming of energy that takes a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of repetition. And most importantly, a deep, sincere desire to learn. And the other thing is, once you do make a mistake, once you have bought 100 pairs of shoes, or once you have screamed at your kids or your partner or whomever is there that you use as a punching bag, can you have enough compassion for yourself and your dysfunction? So being conscious doesn't always mean that you are not going to make mistakes. Being conscious simply means that you have enough love and compassion for yourself to understand that the dysfunctional pattern is there for a reason. The dysfunctional pattern is there because it is a cover-up for some deep ingrained pain. The dysfunctional pattern is there because it serves a purpose. It keeps you safe. It's a protective mechanism that prevents you from getting hurt or from whatever it is. The human system is really amazing. It's designed for survival. And so it has kind of like a lot of backup systems in place. And a lot of the times the dysfunctional patterns that we see in our lives are just backup system after backup system after backup system. And it's like, okay, it's the wrong backup system, okay, but it's still there for a reason. There is something that needs to be healed that creates that dysfunctional pattern, whether it is attachment or grasping or control or manipulation or greed or whatever it is. It's there for a reason. When you understand that about yourself, you also begin to understand that about other people. So that when other people do stupid stuff, okay, and maybe you get hurt in the way because you just happen to be on that road. Hey, good morning, Robin. Thanks for watching. You don't take whatever it is that they did personally. You see their dysfunction for what it is. And your heart actually fills up with compassion. And then what that does is, okay, here's negative energy coming your way. But instead of you going the other way and butting heads with this dysfunctional person, you're able to open your heart and kind of just take them in. And now listen, that doesn't mean that you have to take their crap. Okay, that just means that you don't react, you don't get upset, you simply either get out of the way if they're not in a place where they can possibly understand the right thing to do, because maybe they're asleep and they're unconscious. But sometimes, guys, even when you get out of their way, you're actually helping them, because what happens is then this force that was coming with all of its might, if you just get out of the way, it kind of dissipates, or they then like begin to just spin by themselves instead of spinning with you. Okay. And it all comes from a deep understanding and an open heart of compassion, of realizing that they're doing what they're doing. Their dysfunction is there because they're humans and broken souls in pain. And so you first have to have that compassion for yourself, for your dysfunction, for your mistakes, in order to then be able to have that for someone else. And so it all begins with you. And a lot of the times it's not until we have seen what we are doing wrong that we can then begin to change the pattern. So that ability to witness yourself, it's what allows you to either continuously bang yourself against the wall, okay, until you have a bump this big and you have to like wake up and do something about it. Or you bang yourself down and you go, all right, wait, what just happened? Okay, I see. Okay, what's another way? Why did I end up here? And that's the only difference. If you're unconscious, you might have to hit yourself against the wall and suffer a lot until you wake up. So every mistake that you make that creates pain, it's an opportunity to wake up, and it's an opportunity to learn. And it's up to you if you take that opportunity consciously and willingly, or if you're just stubborn and continue to go the wrong way. Sooner or later, it will hurt so much that you will have to wake up and take responsibility and try and do something different. If you find yourself blaming other people, places, and things or circumstances for your suffering, then there is no chance that you're ever going to heal or learn. You have to first realize that anything that you're experiencing, you are either consciously or unconsciously participating in creating that experience, which kind of sucks a little bit, because once you realize that, then kind of like the buck stops there and you have to begin to do something different and take responsibility. And that's not always easy, but it's the only way. Because that's what the world is here for, to slow us down and help us learn. So let's just recap real quick. Earth is a school. Every experience that you have is here to teach you something. You are either learning consciously, and in order to learn consciously, that means that you are taking steps each and every day and every week in a very conscious way to make the time to train your mind and train your body and your spirit to stay awake and see what you're doing, so that you can continuously take responsibility for your actions, so that you can continuously see how you participated in the creation of the situation, so that you can keep an open heart and an open mind to learn from whatever you're experiencing. And, yes, understanding that whatever you're experiencing begins and ends with you, and that you then have to take responsibility and take action to change it. It sounds simple, but it's easier said than done. And sometimes it could be a little bit overwhelming. It's a lot of the reason why people sometimes want to take a journey of self-help and self-understanding, and they think that they want this peace and this light and this bliss, but then when they get to the well, they can't drink, because if they begin to drink and awaken and take responsibility, then they're going to have to change certain things. But guys, that's the most empowering thing on earth. Okay, so it requires a little bit of surrender. It requires a little bit of humbleness, but it's also the most empowering thing, because then you're no longer helpless, just drifting with the tide and then blaming people, places, and things for your bumps. You are like continuously saying, how did I get here? How did I get here? How did I get here? And if you do that, then you can actually say, okay, how do I go another way? If you don't do that, if you don't actually wake up and realize, whether consciously or unconsciously, you're playing a part in your reality, then you just sit there suffering, blaming, getting angry, getting upset, getting resentful, frustrated. And then you have to put up even more walls and even more dysfunctional backup systems in order to prevent you from moving forward. So in order to heal, you really need to have a humble heart and understand that the things that are quote unquote wrong with you, all of the bad, shady, negative qualities, feelings, thoughts, whatever, are coming from a place of deep pain. And if you can do that and you can open your heart to that truth, then you can look at your own mistakes from a heart of compassion. You can look at your younger self from a place of compassion. Hi, Amber. Thanks for watching. Hi, Stacy. Thanks for watching. So this is my message for today. We're here to learn. The world of form is here to slow us down. We are either learning consciously or unconsciously. All mistakes come from incorrect perception that has been downloaded through collective consciousness and ancestral programming. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn and to grow. Sometimes we make mistakes because we need to see more clearly, and that's what opens the door for the next lesson. If you can look at your mistakes from that perspective without beating yourself up, without judgment, without regret, just like, okay, I get it, I see it, let me just find another way to move forward from a place of love. That's the foundation of all healing, because it gives you the option to shift directions. The minute that you realize that you're playing an unconscious or conscious part in how you're creating your reality, then you can then play a conscious part in undoing that reality. If you participated in what you're experiencing now, which you must have, otherwise you wouldn't be experiencing it, then you also have the ability to experience and create something else. But you first have to take responsibility for experiencing what you're experiencing and go within and figure out what you did to get yourself into this situation. So that's my little message for today. Again, I am Sarah. I am a traditional Usui Reiki master teacher, a holistic life coach, and a yoga teacher. I have been practicing for 20 years. I have been teaching for 10. I have 2 amazing programs. If you are interested in working with me, a 90-day awakening and empowerment program, and also a 12-month yoga teacher training program. The 90-day program is open enrollment. You can join anytime. The yoga teacher training program starts weekday version July 14th, weekend version August 21st. And whether you're interested in any of those programs or not, I am hosting a 2-hour workshop on June 29th. It's in the morning. I believe it's 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to talk about how to create a mindfulness practice for your specific needs. It's only $27. It's a super affordable way to work with me and meet me. How to create sacred space, how the mind works, how emotions work, the different types of practices that are available to you. What is the right practice for you? And what obstacles are you going to go hit along the way as you begin on this journey of awakening and staying conscious and moving forward with a place of love, learning from every single experience that you have in life. Because if you're on that path, then life is just so different. There's still pain, but there's no more suffering. There's no more feeling stuck. There's no more spinning your wheels, wondering and wondering, because you are awake enough to use Earth as it was meant to be, a school to learn and continuously shift and improve spiritually away from fear and towards light and love. So that is my message of love for today. I go live once a week. So wherever you're watching me now, I will be here next week. I send out an email and a text message letting people know exactly what time and what day of the week I will go. It's usually Thursdays, but sometimes I can't. So it ends up on another day, but you'll get an email. If you're not on my email list, go to sarahco.com. That's my website, and just enter your information on any one of those 2 programs that I mentioned, like to learn more, and then you get on my mailing list, and then you'll start getting all of this good stuff and notifications. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please share this post with anyone that you'd like. Sending you love and blessings. Namaste.